Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby and today I'll be doing something a little bit different. I already feel a little bit mean talking about this because it's plants I don't like and plants that I think are really overrated, and there are different factors for this. Some may be the way that I think they look, some may be the price tags that they've got, and others may be just the hype and I just don't understand why. So I'll talk to you about the plants that I think are really overrated. And before we get into the video, if you enjoy it at the end, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more planty content. Okay, so I've written a list here and I have to say the majority are philodendron, and there's no reason for that. I just think there's a lot more philodendron that I'm exposed to on Instagram as opposed to less. I don't know, there's more philodendron, let's just say that. But I think this first one is very much a you either love it or you hate it, or you love it and you're impartial and you're not bothered about it, a bit like me. And you may be able to guess it. I think it's on a lot of people's I think this plant is overrated list, and it is the Philodendron Pink Princess. I think this plant is beautiful if it was predominantly pink, and the reality is they're not. I see so many pictures, bless their hearts, of people saying, here's my pink princess, and it just looks like a normal like philodendron, and it's predominantly like that dark like green foliage, which is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but with the pink princess the price tag obviously is inflated because the fact that it's pink, and the reality is they're not really that pink. So yeah, my number one would be a pink princess, and I think again, like I say, a lot of people do feel they either really love them or they don't. And I remember it was last summer, Cowell's had pink princesses for £40, and even they were really good variegations of pink, and even at that point I was like, oh, £40 is a bit much, and now they're just silly prices. Now they're like £199, specifically 199 actually, I see that a lot. But yeah, pink princess is my number one. I'm really not that bothered about plant. And also, if you can see like a random shower screen behind me, it's because it is a random shower screen. We've just got it delivered and I'm waiting for my husband to install it this weekend. So the next plant is a Philodendron Birkin, and this is another one that was really like everyone wanted it. It was really, I don't know if it was expensive, to be honest, because I really wasn't that bothered about them at the time they were like hyped about. So I'm not sure about the price tag, and they're really affordable now, but they do nothing for me. I mean, there are some that I've seen that are really pretty, and I just think for me this is on my list because there's been so many opportunities where they've been really good prices and I just haven't felt even the slightest bit tempted. I can appreciate them, I think they're stunning. Some of them I think they're really pretty, but it's just a plant I've never really been that into, and no hard feelings against it, but I think I'm a person that naturally gravitates against things that people are obsessed with, and I obviously I say that, but I have a Monstera variegata, I've got like the hyped about plants, but I tend to, in life, if people all want to do something, I tend to want to go the other way. So I think that plant is one of these examples of that, if that makes sense. So yeah, the Philodendron Birkin is the second plant that I'm not that bothered about. This plant is one that I see for going for quite a bit of money, and I think quite a bit of money for what I think it should be worth, if that makes sense. So again, this is all my opinion, and if you've got this plant, I'm sorry. I'm just really, I don't see the hype. I mean, I can appreciate its beauty, but not to the extent where I'd have it in my collection. And it is the Philodendron, obviously Philodendron, Prince of Orange. It's nice, it's really nice, but I just I'm not that into it. So yeah, I see lots of these like small versions, like bigger versions, and from my understanding, and I could be being completely like obnoxious here because I don't like it, because I don't really haven't seen it in person, because there are a lot of plants that I've got that I was okay with, and then I got them in person and I was like obsessed with. But I believe that the new leaves grow in a predominantly like orangey colour, Prince of Orange, and then they darken down, I think, because the ones I've seen, there's usually just 1 or 2 leaves that have that kind of like orange kind of like colour to them, and the rest look quite normal. And I'm really not that into standard philodendron that kind of like grow up like that. You're not climbing, not trailing, but you know, I had a philodendron Red Emerald. Obviously that's more of a climbing plant, and I had another one, I forget the name of it, I'll put it on the screen if I can remember. But I had a couple of these because they were really good prices, and they just didn't really suit having like them in my flat because they take up a lot of space because they grow up and kind of outwards, and they were quite large. So I had them and I quickly moved them on, if I'm honest. So yeah, that kind of gives me that vibe, but obviously they do grow in with orange leaves and they're a bit different in that sense. I still think they're really expensive. I just gotta put my lip stuff on because if you know me, I have the most sensitive lips ever, and it looks like I'm wearing permanent lip liner. I'm really not, they're just chapped. So this next one is another one that you either love it or you're really not that bothered about it, and you kind of just like not laugh at the people that, no, that's really mean, no, I take that back. I think the price of this plant is ridiculous. I'm just going to put it out there. I just think it's insane. Like, it's a plant, and the prices of these plants don't give you a plant, it gives you a plant. So you probably guessed it, it's the variegated Adansonii, and I can't believe I had to look at my list for that. So yeah, the Monstera, Adansonia, but the Variegata one, I don't know what to say. They go for thousands in the UK, like unbelievable prices. And they seem, so when I first was like exposed to this, it was like a unicorn plant. It was rare, and literally like hardly anyone had it. You didn't really see it, you just saw like the same picture of it that someone had in their collection. And now they're just, you can get them from loads of shops, like loads of local shops. Obviously the price tag is there, but they're so readily available now. They're not so rare or hard to come by. They just still hold that price tag. I don't understand it. It's stunning. It honestly is a stunning plant. It's the same as the variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Beautiful. That's not as hyped about, and I'm not sure why. But this plant is, I just couldn't. I couldn't. Like £2,000. Like, I think they used to be 2,500, and now I'm seeing them for like 1,800, and one leaf goes for like, I don't know, £700 for like one leaf that's predominantly white. Is gonna die. I couldn't put that stress on myself. I couldn't do it because ultimately it's a lot of money. So that's one that I would absolutely never buy. If I found one in like person, you know, sometimes really lucky people come across like variegated plants in person, then I'd be really excited because it's a pretty plant. But I just, the price tag is just a no for me. No. So the next one, I've kind of gone down in family here, so we're going on to the Hoya now. The next one is the Hoya AH074. Never really heard of this before, like a couple of months ago, and now I'm seeing it a lot. I'm probably seeing it a lot because I'm really into Hoya, as we will know. So I see it a lot because I'm searching for more Hoya. Like the price, like, okay, I got a price example here. There's a one leaf cutting on eBay going for £350. No, that's a lie. It's a 4 leaf cutting going for £350 of this plant. I think what the hell, like it's just expensive. Again, the plant is beautiful, I love it, I would never say no to it. The price is an absolute no-no. So in my opinion, this is an unnecessary plant that I'm not that into because of the price. If it was cheaper, I'm talking £40, I'd be into it. So that will never be in my collection. The next one is a more common plant, common but not, I don't know, it depends on where you are in the world. So this is a Hoya Compactorvaragata. I think it's nice, and if I had like someone's like wild ferns like Hoya Compactorvaragata, I'd be all over it because it's beautiful. But here in the UK, correct me if I'm wrong, I see little cuttings of them, and we all know they are very, very, very slow growers, and you don't really get to, you know, if they're this big, you don't really get to experience or enjoy the variegatedness of the plant. It's small, it's really, really expensive. I would pass. I would rather have the normal one, the normal green one, which I do. But even that, like they're not fast growers, and for me, if I was to spend such a lot of money on a plant, I would want it to do something and grow. Like my Albo Syngonium, that was a wishlist plant for probably over a year. I purchased it for £62. I luckily, because it came covered in thrips, got a full refund for it, but I wouldn't say that was worth it because I lost a lot of my collection because of that plant. But long story short, that grows really quickly, and I feel like it was worth, I don't know if it was worth the thrips, but it was worth it. I think the plant that I bought, the speed it grows for £62 was worth it because it grows quickly. And now I propagated it because it's producing fully white leaves, and all the propagations I've taken of it, including the wet sticks, all have new leaves. So it is a really quick grower. So I do think in that aspect, it's worth it. But the Hoya Compactorvaragata, unless you came into one that was like a full plant and it was a reasonable price, then I'm not that into it because I want my plants to grow for me and I want them to grow quick. The next one is I'm going back to Philodendron here, it's the Florida Ghost. I really like the leaf shape of these, and I like them because they're cool and they are a bit more unusual. I have a pedantum, so I feel like I don't have that desire to have a Philodendron Florida Ghost or a Philodendron Florida Beauty or just a Philodendron Florida. I think that's the green one. I'm really not that into them, so I haven't actually done much research on them, but I have the pedantum, which is a lot cheaper. I think the Florida Ghost, from everything I understand, like the new leaves growing white or like a really, really pale green, and then they darken down. But I see a lot of people having trouble with that, and I don't want a plant that gives me so much stress, you know? Like I see how I'm not even that bothered about my Syngonium anymore. Like it's just producing white leaves, and at first I was stressed because I was like, it's gonna fall off, and then it's literally produced 2 full white leaves in a row, dropped off, half, which is fine, another white leaf, and I just think you'll never have a plant if it just keeps dying like that. And I see a lot of people struggling with these, so it's more the struggle side of them, which is why I'm not that into them. But in their own right, they're beautiful. They're expensive. I think they're very expensive, but I think the hype for them is kind of like dying down a bit, which is a bit sad. So maybe I'll get a cheap one, but if it dies on me, or I don't know, I'm not that into it. That's why it's on my list. I'm not that into it. So yeah, there's that one. So this last one is an alocasia. I don't know how to say this. This is a new plant to the market, I believe. It's an alocasia aslani. I'm really not good, and I am kind of dyslexic as well, so I'm really bad with reading and spelling and stuff. But yeah, alocasia aslani. I put a image on the screen of all of these so you can see what I'm talking about. It's so cool looking. It's because it's different. They're £250, like as a minimum. That's the cheapest I've seen them, and alocasia at the best of times are a bit difficult, you know, so I think it's beautiful, but I'm not that into it because I've also seen people who've got these, like there's Rose, like from Instagram. She has one, and she did a Instagram versus reality, and the reality of it was just a really dark foliage leaf, and it doesn't look anything like what you see in the images. I don't know if that's just hers, because again, this is a newer plant to the market, but I'd be quite disappointed if I bought that for that much money and it just looked quite dark. It's very similar, if I'm honest, it's very similar to the Alocasia Red Secret. So I'll put the picture here. I had this plant, and this picture I took of it, it looks amazing. It looks like so majestic and like fun and sparkly and cool. It was a tenner, so let's just, the price difference there, it was cheaper, a lot cheaper, but I still think a tenner for one leaf is crazy. So yeah, it was amazing, but I edited my picture, like, so not like change the colours and stuff, but I enhanced colours. I sharpened it, you know, so this leaf looked amazing because of the lighting in the flat. I think the sun was shining on it, and that's why I thought, oh my god, it's so pretty, I want to take a picture. And the reality is, normally it didn't look like that. It would normally be quite dark and dull. So yeah, I think that is an example of what that would be like, and I wouldn't want that. I want a plant where I look at it online, I'm like thinking about like it going onto my wish list or wanting to purchase it for a while, because I'm not so impulsive. And when I would want to open the package or buy it and be wowed straight away. There's nothing worse than opening a package, especially when you're doing like an unboxing and you can just see it all over your face. Like, you open a package and you're like, oh, is that what it looks like? Like, I don't know, I feel like that plant would do that for me. So yeah, there's that one as well. And that is my last one. There were loads that I had written down, loads of philodendron and really expensive anthurium that I had written down, which are like really expensive, but I didn't really want to put them on this list because the prices are extortionate, but the plants are stunning. I don't think that justifies it, but they're not plants that I'm not that bothered about to that degree. Like, I would love one, but the prices, I would never buy one. And yeah, that's my list, so that's why they're not on there. There are some that are on there because the prices, like the Overrated, if thousands of pounds for a plant, it's just silly, people. If you have it, then yay, I'm really happy for you, but I don't know, it's each their own, isn't it? And I feel really bad like saying this, and if any of these plants on my list are on your or in your collection, then again, this is all personal preference. I hope not to really annoy anyone. I know I've got loads of plants that people are just like, yeah, I'm not that into it. Like my euphorbia, people are like, yeah, good for you, I'm glad you really like that, Abby, but it's not really that like great to me, you know. That's the beauty of it. It's like artwork. I always say, when I used to sell artwork, someone used to come in and fall in love with a piece and be like, I absolutely love that, and it's like they used to talk about how it evoked memories and what it meant to them, and then someone else would be like, oh my god, as if people would pay that price for that, you know. It's the same kind of thing. So that's why I enjoy plants so much, because they're different to everyone. Even the same plant is different for everyone. So I think, please don't get insulted by this video. I really hope it doesn't annoy anyone, and I just hope you enjoyed it and took it very lighthearted, like how I'm making my list. It's very lighthearted. A lot of these, if I had the opportunity to have them for a good price, then I would never say no, kind of thing. Apart from, I think there was one, the Birkin. Yeah, I'm just not that bothered about. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.